Hey beloved, my name is Krista Pettiford. Welcome back to my channel. This week I am back with question number 5 of the 5 clarifying questions for every season in life from my Seasons, Beauty, Blessings, and Purpose and Lessons journal. Seasons, Beauty, Blessings, Purpose, and Lessons journal. And why is that? Because when you ask these 5 clarifying questions so that you can know, you ask the questions so that you can know what season you're in, you can know what God is calling you to do, so you can be intentional about what you give your time and attention to. And so the journal itself walks you through the questions, and then each day you have a chance to set your intention in the morning, and at night you have a space to record your beauty, blessings, purpose, and lessons. And then there's also things that it asks you, what is God asking you to keep lifted in prayer? What is your word for this season? And a season in life in a year is 3 months or a quarter. In life, we have different seasons. We have our youth, we have our young adulthood, we have middle age, where I'm at right now. Then we have our older years, and then we have our fading years where we're going home to be with the Lord as we came into the world. So we have those seasons of life, but this journal is really about spiritual seasons, which I like to liken to winter, spring, summer, and fall. And so this journal, because winter is a night or a quiet season, a season of rest, a season of testing, a season of preparation. Spring is a time of sowing seed of new beginnings, and I just came out of a winter season, and I am in a spring season, new beginnings, sowing new seed, starting over again, doing something new. And then we have summer, where that which we sow, we begin to see the fruit of it. We begin to see the fruit of the labor that we sowed, and our hard work began to pay off. And then fall is like a harvest season, and when we see that which we did come up in its fullness, and we're able to eat of its goodness and taste and see that the Lord is good. And these cycles go through over and over again. So spiritual season is not like the seasons of life. You will not be young again. You will live in eternity, but you will not be a teenager again. David said, I will go to him, but he cannot return to me. You will not come back to this earth in the same form, maybe in your glorified body if you know the Lord, but you will not be coming back. We have one life. I know people, some religions don't teach that, but the truth is we get this life and then we go on to eternity, right? And then we live on forever somewhere, and we will come back and reign with him, right, in our glorified bodies. But this is not a rehearsal, right? So we don't get this. Time passes and life is but a breath, and then you're gone. And so those are the seasons of life. But during our seasons of life, we go through different spiritual seasons, and these seasons recur like the seasons of the year: winter, spring, summer, and fall. And with them, they bring those things: seed time and harvest. They bring the darkness, the night, where you're eating off of what you sowed, what you harvested, right? Where that which is fall before winter is fall. And so that fullness and that harvest that you get when you have, when what you've sown has come to full maturity, then you eat off of that in the dark of night, where there's the promises of God, what he told you in the light that you have to hold on into the dark. And then comes the spring, where you're sowing again, and it's cyclical, where you're just going in this season. And so you can come out of a hard season and be in a season of rest and restoration, joy and blessing, where I believe many of us are. But then you can come back into a new season, a hard season, and a new beginning again, a season of waiting and sowing and reaping and all of that. You know, they say new levels, new devils. And because even when you go up higher and you're more mature and equipped for the battle, that does not ensure that you will not walk through something hard and not have to put on your war gear and fight and stand and go through another battle, because those are the spiritual seasons that we cycle through. And so in this last one, that was just kind of a quick lesson on that. But in this last one, there's 5 questions, and we've talked about what God is asking us to lean into. In the first teaching, I talked about how to understand, how to know what season you're in, so that you can know what God is calling you to do, how to identify your season. And then I went through what God is calling you to lean into, what he's calling you to who he's calling you to listen to and not to listen to, what he's calling you to lay down, and what he's calling you to keep lifted in prayer. And this last one is important because it is, what lessons does he want you to learn? And every season, whether it's a hard season or a season of blessing and rest, there is something that you need to learn. And the problem occurs because many people miss the lesson in the easier seasons, in the seasons of blessing and rest and fulfillment. Everything seems to be going well, and we miss the lessons. And what happens when you miss the lessons, it's like the ant. The Bible talks about the ant and how the ant gathers its food in the summer for the winter when there is plenty. We can talk about Joseph, where he told Pharaoh that you're going to have 7 years of plenty, and then 7 seasons of lack, of what is it called? Not harvest, of famine. And so you want to gather. You're not going to eat up everything that you have in your season of plenty, because you're going to have seasons of famine, and then you're going to be able to not only feed yourself but feed other people, and they're going to buy this grain from you. That is a lesson. That is something that is wisdom that you are implementing. And so in whatever season you are in, how to know what God is calling you to do through these 5 clarifying questions. This is an important one. Sometimes we just look for the lessons in the hard seasons. God, what are you trying to teach me? Why am I going through this, right? Been there. But God, what are you trying to teach me in this season of harvest and blessing that I can have for the next season? Even if it's a new season of blessings and grace and glory, even if you're taking me up and I'm not going to experience, a famine, as it were, you still will need those lessons to maintain what you obtained, and to receive more. To whom has, the Bible says, to him who has, more will be given, but to him who does not have, even that which he has will be taken. And so I believe I said that right. And so when you understand what God is calling you to do, sometimes you think you have something, but there's a rap song. I think it's Lauryn Hill, maybe it's hip hoppy. I called it Christian rap because when I first got saved back in 98, I call that the first gospel album I listened to, because it was like she had scripture. I still love her album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, but I digress. What I am trying to say is, it's not what you cop, it's what you keep. And so that is what she says in one of her songs. It's not about what you cop. It's not about what you get. It's about what you're able to keep. And so Jesus said it that way. To him who has, more will be given. But if you don't know what you have and you don't honor it, then that what you have will be taken away. Let's look at the parable of the talents, where the men were given the talents. There was the 1 talent, the 5, and the 10. And the man with the 1 went and hid it, and he didn't do anything with it. He didn't get the lesson. He didn't try and discern what God was trying to teach him. He didn't do anything with it. And then that was taken away from him. And the man who had 5 talents, he went and made more. I believe it was 5 and then 10. And it said, take it from him and give it to the one. Maybe I'm misquoting that. Maybe it was 2 and 5. But the one who had the most talents, the one who did nothing with his talent, the one who doubled them, he got the other person's talent because he understood what God was calling him to do. So whether you're in a hard season, and this man said he was afraid, but even when you're afraid, look for the lesson. And so what I'm trying to say is that whatever your season that you are in, God, there's a lesson. Don't let it pass you by. God is a teacher. He even gifts us with the spirit of the teacher. It's part of the 5-fold ministry, because it is an expression of the character of God to teach us. He said, I will instruct you. I will teach you in the way that you should go. Do not be like the horse and the mule who lacks understanding, who won't go with you without a bit and a bridle in their mouth. And we've all had those seasons where where we're stubborn, when we don't want to learn, where he does have to put a bit and a bridle on our mouth. Maybe I'm just talking about me. But then we learn the lesson. Jesus said, the Bible said he learned obedience by what he suffered. Hebrews said that about Jesus. And so we learn, even sometimes by what we suffer, we learn. And then we become students. and we become teachable. So ask God to make you teachable and ask Him to show you what are the lessons that He wants you to learn. When you ask these 5 questions, you will discover the beauty, the blessings, the purpose, and the lessons that He has for you. When you ask these 5 clarifying questions, and when you put into practice what He speaks to you, when He shows you what you're to lean into, what you're to listen to or not listen to, what you're to let go of or lay down, what you are to keep lifted to Him, and what He wants you to learn in this season, then you can focus on that and you won't be distracted, and you will be present to experience the beauty, the blessings, the purpose, and the lessons. You will have a different perspective, a different cadence and rhythm in life, and you will be able to capture the daily beauty that the Lord reveals, the daily lessons that He has in store for you. Not every lesson is a bad lesson or a hard lesson. Sometimes He's just teaching your heart and instructing you and releasing wisdom to you because you open your ear to Him. And He shows you things that other people would miss because you're willing, because He's communing with you. He loves to fellowship with His children. And when we listen and we become the student, then the teacher shows up, and then also the purpose of this season and what He purposes for you. Not just what is the point of it all, but what are your purposes in this season? What is your intention for me to get out of your overall purpose in my life? What is your specific plan that you are working? Because as we progress through the spiritual seasons of life, then we are constantly fulfilling our portion of His plan and purpose in the earth. And beauty, blessings. And then what is the blessing? What are the small things? How He feeds the ravens, how He sent a raven to feed Elijah. What are the little things that we don't notice? How He provides for us, how He protects us, how He heals us, how He answers prayer for us. What are the blessings in this season? And sometimes the blessing is keeping you from something that you thought you had to have. And so when you have God's perspective and you're willing to lay down what He wants you to lay down, you'll see a blessing in that. What is the blessing and what He wants to give you, what He wants you to give away, what He is multiplying so that you can help and feed and nourish others in the name of the Lord. And so what is that in your life? You'll see that when you ask those 5 questions, and then, as I said, you put into practice what He speaks to you. God bless you until next time.